is, in fact, Gaudete Sunday. Latin scholars, Gaudete means rejoice. But really, rejoice in what? I mean, look around. There have been more shootings in our country this year than there are days of the year. Not to mention the violence that's all over the world. Rejoice? Donald Trump for president? I don't think so. Rejoice. Finals. Yuck. Rejoice? Indeed. The church gives us this day to tell us that we need to rejoice because, frankly, it is just so darn easy not to. Rejoicing, my friends, is our sign to the world that we believe that evil has not won. That our fears and our anxieties will not overcome us. That God always has the final say over evil. We rejoice by choosing trust over fear. Because we all know it's all too easy to listen to that fearful voice that tells us, well, the whole world's going to pot. Or, well, maybe I'm not quite smart enough to get my degree to succeed here. Or, well, you know, I bombed the midterm earlier in the semester. I sure as heck am going to bomb the final as well. No. We need to rejoice in our own God-given abilities. And when these things happen, when things don't quite go our way, we just need to alter our perspective just slightly. Is fear going to overcome our trust? If we listen to John the Baptist, St. Paul, and the book of Zephaniah's call to us tonight, we will realize what they say is true. That we need to have no anxiety at all, but to embrace the peace that God offers us when we place our trust in God. To trust and then to rejoice and to sing as one does at a party. And I've seen each and every one of you do this in the face of misery before. You've rejoiced this semester when you've seen or heard someone who doesn't have a coat. And so you gave the extra one you had to the Journey's End coat drive. You've rejoiced when you've asked friends not to give you a gift for your birthday or Christmas, but to send some funds for your international service immersion trip instead. You've rejoiced when that roommate has gotten on your last nerve, but you gave them some extra time anyway. And when we do this, we are like John the Baptist, where we point to God. And God calls us to continue to rejoice and to trust that God will see us through to the end of the semester, through to Christmas, through anything that may cause us stress and anxiety. And at the end, we find that God is already ahead of us, waiting for us, even as we wait for God in Advent. This is our Eucharist, that even in the midst of tragedy and anxiety, God shows up anyway. My friend Glenn always says, God may not show up on time, but when he does, he's right on time. And we forget that again and again. And so when we do, we can come here and we remind ourselves to Gaudete, to rejoice, as God stretches forth to us from this altar so that we might have the courage to rejoice in God's presence in our midst, instead of choosing to cower and fear and distrust. And so this Advent, friends, this Christmas, this end of the semester, I say to you, rejoice. For 'twas the night before finals, and as we bless your grain, God hopes to relieve you of worry and pain. So sit back now, relax, as we say with one voice, Gaudete, Canisius, let us together